As we near October, district play is upon us. It's the Killeen Kangaroos entering Copperas Cove with both teams 0-0 as we start Phase 2 of the 2024 Texas high school football season. Howdy, everybody, and welcome in to Countdown to Kickoff, where we get you ready for the action. I'm Kurtis Quillin, alongside the offensive coordinator of the Copperas Cove Bulldawgs, Jared Shaw, and the defensive coordinator, Mike Evans. Gentlemen, nice win last week. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start with, as we always do with last week's action. It felt like, you blink, it's 14-0, but you guys not only came all the way back, but you did it with incredible poise and patience. Walk me through what clicked whenever Del Valle took that quick lead. Let's start with you, Coach Shaw.
I think for us, for one, we just started executing. They did a great job with their game plan. Great coaching staff there, great group of kids from an athleticism standpoint. And they just executed their game plan very well, deflated the ball, took the air out the ball, and forced us to play a very slow-paced game. Our kids responded well, our coaching staff responded well, and they did a really good job. And so once we got clicking and got rolling offensively and defensively, I felt like we played a complete game from that point forward.
What about on defense?
Well, I think we had to recover from the shock of initially giving up the big play. First snap, we gave up a big return that kind of got them in that plus 50 area, and that's an area where people normally take a shot, run a trick play, and they ran a trick play, and it was ran to perfection. A great reverse play, great call by their staff, and then so we get back from that, and then we get back on the field. We get them to fourth down. It's a 4th and 4, and we give up a slant inside when we have inside press coverage, so you shouldn't be crossing your face. So that kind of, so that always drives you crazy as a coach when you're in the right thing and to stop what they want to do and they still execute it. And they end up scoring on that drive later on as well. So now you're down 14-0. We just know the plan was good. We felt like the plan was still in place, and it's just our lack of ability to execute the plan at that moment. But from that point on, we didn't score again. It was just, we blinked them for 3 quarters, but what they did do a great job of is continue to stick to their game plan and snap it late and nickel and dime us in the run game. And even if they punted, it was, they drained a lot of the clock. And so hats off to them for that. But I was really proud of my kids for holding them at 14, because we knew 14 points wasn't going to be enough to beat us with the kind of offense we have.
The fact that, especially on defense, 14 points quickly, slowly but quickly, slowly on the game clock, but quickly since kickoff, with them being a run-first offense. To be able to, from that moment on, just drain it in your favor and ensure that, okay, that's it for tonight for them. How much confidence did that give the kids on your defense?
Well, we knew the game wasn't really in their favor at that moment, because here's the deal: if you're not, you can hold it, but if you're not scoring, you're limiting your opportunities as well. And we knew we had more opportunity for big plays than they did, and we know it was only a matter of time. So, we're the kind of offense that can score very quickly, and they usually are not. So we knew as the time rolled on and they wasn't cashing on some of these drives, that they were going to start to press and get out of character. And so we got them to 3rd and longs, and they're trying to throw the ball, and we were able to cause some turnovers, get a lot of sacks and negative plays, and that kind of played into our hands. And again, we knew 14 points wasn't going to be enough to beat us.
The fact that your defense, Coach Shaw, can hold them to 14 after, like we've talked about to this point, that quick start, and lay the groundwork for y'all to just plug away one drive at a time, how much did that help as the kids broke the huddle for the 3rd or the 4th possession?
Right. No, absolutely. It doesn't surprise me at all. Our defensive staff is scrappy. Our kids defensively have adopted that mentality, kind of that junkyard mentality where they just compete. And so, like Coach Evans said, once we started executing defensively, those kids fly around to the ball. They gave me headaches all spring long, and so I'm not surprised to see them get stops on Friday nights. And that's the expectation across the board, is that we compete and that we go out and execute in all 3 phases of the game. But it was great for us to have that happen offensively. We need the other 2 phases to be great like they were on Friday going forward the remainder of the season as well. And so we felt like we won in all 3 phases on Friday. It was a complete team effort.
Starting with you, Coach Shaw, a good friend of mine is a coach, used to be in Salado, and then he was in Killeen, now he's over in Gerald's, Alan Hare. He would always tell me, Kurtis, I always tell the kids, there's 3 parts to the season. Preseason, to get you ready for district, then there's your district slate, which hopefully gets you ready for Phase 3, the playoffs. You're in that 2nd phase now. When you guys came in Monday with district play starting this week, the games matter a little bit more when it comes to the goal in the season at this point. What was your message to the offense when you guys came in Monday morning?
Offensively, I just spoke to him about, having already seen several seasons and several phases of the season throughout the first 4 games. I felt like Ellison, we came out and there was a shootout and a slugfest. I felt like we were heartbroken, with the result, Leander Glenn. And I felt like we got hit in the mouth against Georgetown, and then we got up off the canvas and we bounced back, and we responded the right way against Del Valle. And so our non-district schedule kind of took us through the ringer and ups and downs and a roller coaster of emotions. And the way that our kids responded and our coaching staff responded, everyone responded the right way. Everyone is together. All of the kids are more motivated than ever, the coaching staff as well. And so we're looking forward to Friday night having another opportunity to go 1-0.
Coach Evans, same question to you on defense. With district play here, when you guys came in Monday morning, what was the message to the defense?
Just simply that everyone's 0-0 now. I told the boys it didn't matter if we were 4-0, 0-4, 2-2, like we are. That's our reality. But the record doesn't mean anything now. All it's about is district play. And I told them we just want to focus on from Friday night on. Like I said, this is a new season. We're not even worried about anything that happened in the past or anybody's record or our record, because we're playing a very talented football team. So we're just focusing on one game at a time, and like I said, we're 0-0 right now.
Well, through 4 games, what's the biggest thing you guys need to build on to be able to try to be one of those 4 that gets into week 13, week 12?
Well, just like I talked about last week, starting faster defensively. Again, we find ourselves in a slow start, and we've got to figure out a way to come out and not allow ourselves to get in that hole. Again, I'm really proud. Again, our kids, wow, to come back from that. You're down early because a lot of our own doing now, they executed, but a lot of our own doing got us in that hole. So finding a way to have the focus in the Bulldog tempo that we preach from the beginning to the end.
Coach Shaw, same question.
The biggest thing for me is winning the first possession of each half, winning the first possession offensively and defensively, coming out to open the game, and then as well coming out to open the second half. And when we feel like if we do that and when we do that, we'll have a chance to be in every single ball game. Obviously, everybody up and down this highway is very talented. You can drop a pin and there's a kid that's going Power 5 at every single school, so everybody has athletes, and we feel like our coaching staff and off season and things like that, we feel like if we take care of business, we'll have the opportunity to be playing an additional week. So.
Coming up, as we get you set for this District 12 6A opener, we're going to dive into the matchup between the Bulldog offense and the Killeen High defense. You're listening to Countdown to Kickoff on Bulldog Radio. Back at Bulldog Stadium for Countdown to Kickoff on Bulldog Radio. Kurtis Quillin alongside the offensive coordinator of the Copperas Cove Bulldogs, Jared Shaw. And Coach, your matchup tonight against the Killeen High defense, a team that's 0-4, but kind of like Coach Evans said with the 2-2 for y'all, it doesn't really tell the whole story when you look at the 3 playoff teams and an Ellison team that is hoping to return to the playoffs and can score as well. When you look at that defense, what is it that you see?
I see fast, athletic. Again, like you said, 3 out of the teams they played in non-district or playoff teams. I think Ellison will be a playoff team this year in the 5A D2 ranks. That's a really good ball club as well. And I've told our coaching staff that's the best 0-4 team in Central Texas, and I truly believe that. I mean, you look at them offensively, they have guys that can take the top off. You look at them defensively, they're scrappy, and if I didn't know the end result of some of the games, just watching them from an offensive standpoint, looking at their defense, you would think that they won the ball game. And so I know our other 2 faces on Friday will be great. We got great coaches and coordinators that are heading those 2 sides of the ball as well. And so, but defensively, they have some athletes that can hurt you. They roll down, they go cover 0 and cover 1. And they get in your face and they press you at the defensive back position, and then they load up the box to stop the run. So we'll have to be a very well-balanced offense and kind of utilize both sides of it, from a run game and pass game standpoint. And we'll have to be clicking on all cylinders on Friday night. If our kids are doing that, I feel confident with where we'll stand at the end of the night.
Speaking of the run game, where it was at after week 2 versus where it's at now, has it taken those steps that you needed it to against Georgetown and Del Valle before district play?
Yes, sir. I believe so. We've shown the ability to be able to throw the ball for 400 and 500 yards a night. We've also shown the ability to be able to run for 250 yards, 300 yards a night if we need to as well. I think that is a large part into what we saw in the questions that we answered coming out of non-district is that we do have the ability to do both. I do feel like we are a balanced offense. And so on Friday night, we'll need to do a great job of being balanced, of keeping them, or staying ahead of the sticks and keeping those guys uncomfortable on the defensive side in regards to Killeen's defense. But if we're reading and executing and facilitating and distributing the ball like I know we're capable of at the quarterback position, we'll be more than fine. So.
KJ Ziegler has really been the catalyst for that run game emerging the last 2 weeks. What have you seen from him, especially with just kind of coming onto the scene? And you guys see him every day, but for those of us in the stands, to see him emerge the way he did against Georgetown and to do it again against Del Valle and be instrumental in this offense, what have you seen from him this season, and what do you need more of from him? We just need him to continue to be KJ. He's not your average sophomore. He's a very mature kid. He brings his hard hat every single day and goes to work every single day of practice. He's yet to miss a practice, and he just goes out there and works with his teammates. He talks very little, but he works a lot, and so he's a very talented kid. We also have Malik Cutbirth, that's a returning all-district kid. So we have him. We have Anthony King, that's a 4-4 kid that can take the top off as well from a throwing the ball and from a running the ball standpoint. And so we're looking forward to him continuing to be special at quarterback. And make no bones about it, the guys with good quarterbacks in this district are the ones that make playoffs, and if he can be a top 4 quarterback in the district, we feel confident with where we'll be at the end of the year. Right now, he's sitting number 2 behind the quarterback from Killeen, and so it'll be an interesting night quarterback battle-wise. I'm excited for Anthony King. I've told him I believe he's the best kid that'll be on the field on Friday night, and I truly believe that. Take me back to the huddle Friday night, because being able to, for any high school team to come back from that early deficit and be able to win the game and in the way that y'all did, what was Anthony like in those huddles, down 14-0, all the way until the end when you guys seal the win 21-14? Right, he's taken over the team. He's taken over the team. He's led from the front. He's been a great leader, led by example. Anthony King, Mike Dennis, Don Ramos, Marcus Uni, all of those guys the entire game, they stayed up regardless whether it was 3 and out or a touchdown given up or a touchdown executed. Those guys are all even-keel individuals. They came to the sideline, and I thought as a coaching staff, offensively, defensively, and special team unit-wise, coaches did a great job of keeping everybody on the same page, of managing the individuals on the sideline and making sure that everybody was on the same accord. And so just super proud of the kids, but also proud of the coaching staff as well. Well, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. Go Dogs. In the next block, we're going to dive into the other side of the ball. It'll be the Bulldog defense against the Killeen High offense. I wonder if we have anything to talk about. You're listening to Countdown to Kickoff on Bulldog Radio. Back here on Countdown to Kickoff, where we get you ready for the game, Kurtis Quillin alongside now the defensive coordinator of the Copperas Cove Bulldawgs, Mike Evans. Coach, thanks for taking some time to chat with us today.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Let's dive right in. Your defense. Flip the script against Del Valle. Now you have a Killeen team that's always full of athletes. Head coach is a successful former offensive coordinator who, coached in a state championship game at his last stop before this. And you look at their offense and ignore the 0-4 part. You just look at their offensive output. 21 points is their worst offensive output against a really good Vista Ridge team, and then they've scored 52, 42, and 42. What do you see when you turn on the tape with this Killeen offense?
Well, first of all, Coach Sadler does a great job over there with those guys and getting his kids prepared every day. But I turn on the tape and I see a very explosive, high-tempo, multiple offense with a very dynamic passing game, and they can also run it too. I think their running backs are very talented. I think their O-line leans on you. They're big and they get after you. They have very good run schemes as well, but they really stress you vertically. So their quarterback's a guy that's athletic, can throw from in the pocket, off the spot, out of the pocket as well. They can throw. They have every variety of passing game that you can think of. So they make your weekends long trying to prepare for them.
Last week you played a team that was 70% run. This week you're playing a team that's 70% pass. How have the kids made that adjustment in practice?
Well, we structure the practice a little differently. Maybe last week we had a lot more inside run holes, and now we're having a lot more passing game situations, and it's just not your typical pass hole. You have to get your third down passing game cards. You have to get your red zone passing cards. You have to get your sprint out passing cards. You have to get their top 10 concepts. So we've done it a multitude of ways to add more, to get all the variety that they give you in the passing game. But again, you can't ignore the run. I can't stress it enough. They've got good backs and they got good run schemes.
To see your defense grow the way that it has with, a couple of times where you've talked about you wanted faster starts in those games like Ellison and last week against Del Valle, but to see them respond that way and to grow the way they have this year, what's been the catalyst for that?
I just think unselfish kids, man. I can't speak enough about the kids and how they play for each other. I mean, just a prime example of that is a young man that's been starting an inside backer named Colin Herman. He was having a rough night. I insert another young man. We ended up having a great night. Yeah, but, after that first series of Colin coming off the field, he came to me and said, Coach, you need to keep chasing there, Coach. He's rolling. You need to keep chasing there. So I just think that. I just think the kids want to please each other. They want to please the staff. They want to please the community. They want to play hard for each other. So I think it's just that, just the kids. The kids themselves are the catalyst.
Is there anything, or what can you say about the multitude of offenses that you guys have been able to go up against and how that got you ready for district play at this point? You've faced everything from the slot T to power spread that's going to drain the clock to that receiver's down there somewhere. Let's just throw it and go find him.
Yeah, I think the thing is when you establish a system defensively, you establish base rules and base keys, and you just kind of stick to those things. It doesn't matter what they do. Here's what you look at. And I think when you have that kind of consistency in the program, you can play multiple offenses because there's still, no matter what offense it is, a fade's a fade, a guard pull's a guard pull, a dive's a dive, right? So we just keep it that way. We keep it simple, and let's look at our base keys first. And if there's anything now outside of that, if there's anything that screws up our base keys, how do we adjust?
When you talked about wanting to start faster, I asked Coach Shaw this question with the offense. Take me inside the huddle when you guys, Friday night, from the time you guys are down 14-0 and start that refocus, that comeback to the time the final horn sounds in the fourth quarter.
Well, when you're down 14-0, well, I know this about our team. I wish we had better starts, but I do know this: they're resilient. I know they're going to fight. So I know I had that going for me. I know our kids, no matter what the score, are not going to quit. They're going to keep on rolling. They're going to keep on punching. They're going to keep on fighting. They'll keep on scrapping. So I knew that was going to happen. But I think, when they come out and they score on something we hadn't really seen before, reverse, and I just told them, I said, hey, we just keep playing hard. And they've done their razzle-dazzle, but that's not who they are. Eventually, we keep stopping them. We keep stopping them. They're going to go back to what we've been working on, and we know we can stop that. And that's kind of how the game went after that.
And you told us that they were going to do that every game they'd had some sort of wrinkle, and that you were expecting opening drive, they're going to come out in something we haven't seen on tape one time.
Right, but they can't live in that.
Right.
So, they got their big shot in, they threw their haymaker, but we knew you keep stopping them, they're going to go back to their bread and butter, and we know for a fact if we play Bulldog football, we can stop it.
If someone came to you and said, halfway through the season, who is your biggest defensive leader, and how have you seen him grow this season? Say it's in an aisle at HEB. How are you going to answer?
Yeah, again, Colin Herman. I go back to him, just his unselfishness. The willingness of a senior to give up his spot for another young man that is performed really well and was having a great night. And he's just been consistently like that. He's the kind of guy that when, he knows the game plan as well as me, and he's willing to help his teammates understand the game plan as well. I always told him, when I was a senior in college, I was the only senior at my position group. And, he's in that same position, and he just embraced that of being that extra coach there. And so I'm really proud of him. And then there's this young man who just made strides just throughout the season athletically, that may not have been on the radar early on, but have made a name for themselves, like a Chase Hamilton, a Jace Early. Another man that comes to mind has just done a great job for us.
Coach, thank you. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Up next, final keys to the game. And as we get you set for kickoff, this is Countdown to Kickoff on Bulldog Radio. Back on Countdown to Kickoff on Bulldog Radio. If you would like to see the taping of this show live, we record it every Wednesday at noon in the boardroom at the CCISD Administration Building on South Main Street across from Central Fire. Again, that's noon in the boardroom at the CCISD Administration Building. Kurtis Quillin alongside the offensive coordinator of the Dogs, Jared Shaw, and the defensive coordinator, Mike Evans. Guys, homecoming night here in Copperas Cove. Coach Evans, we'll start with you. What does homecoming mean for a game like this for y'all?
Well, it's kind of that double whammy because it's homecoming and it's a district opener, so there's a heightened level of excitement for everyone. But homecoming, just going back on my own experience, man, I just loved it, man. I remember, I grew up in Dallas at Woodrow Wilson High School, and we did homecoming big there. We had parades, and you walked around with your jersey, and you high-fived the little kids at the elementary schools, and it's just a lot of fun. But the main thing is we want to make sure the kids know that, yeah, have fun, enjoy this moment, but it's ultimately about the game. Right, everyone's here because of the game. All this is a lot of cool stuff centered around the Friday night 7:30 kickoff. So we don't want to lose focus of that. We want them to enjoy it because it is a special time, and you never get these years back. So I just remember that. I think about my own experience and how much, and I feel, I want our seniors to enjoy it as well.
Coach Shaw.
For me, the funnest part of it is just going throughout the week, seeing the dress-up days and the kids going back to the 90 days and the 2000s and having flashbacks myself to high school. And just, I tell the kids all the time, regardless of what's next for you in this life, whether it's college or whether it's trades or whether it's military, whatever route you choose to go, there's nothing like running out of the tunnel and going through homecoming and running out of that Bulldog tunnel with your teammates. With your families in the stands, and so just soak it all up and have as much fun with it as possible. But at the end of the day, we want to represent Copperas Cove the right way and put out a good product on the field on Friday night.
If I come to the high school on Friday, am I catching y'all wearing mums?
No, it's strictly business on Friday. The kids can wear all that. The kids are wearing. We'll be locked in on the game plan and executing that.
We're nearing, as this is airing, we're nearing kickoff against Killeen at this point. So, Coach Shaw, starting with you, I mean, your final 2 points to the guys before you run out on the field for the first time.
The biggest thing for me, offense, is I want to see us execute a complete game. Execute a complete game, start fast. Like we spoke about earlier, I want to see us win the first 2 possessions of each half. And if we do those things, I feel like we'll be in great shape to add a number to the left column on the win-loss record.
Coach Shaw, or Coach Evans, excuse me.
Yeah, again, starting fast, man. I don't think we've played 4 quarters of defense yet either. I think we played a heck of a 3 quarters last week. But so we want to get out there. I'm pretty sure they're going to take the ball, man. If they had a chance, they want it first, and that's cool. I enjoy those kind of challenges. So we want to make them punt on that first snap, and limit the explosive plays. They're going to test you, man. They're going to stretch that ball deep. They've got great athletes on the outside, really good receivers. Number 1 is a special player, one of the top receivers in our district. So we want to limit them explosive plays, and again, get off to a great start.
Gentlemen, thank you all for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
For Coach Jared Shaw, Coach Mike Evans, producers Matt Thompson and Cole Witter, I'm Kurtis Quillin. Thank you for joining us on Countdown to Kickoff. Coming up after the break, we'll send you up to the Big Joe Lombardi radio booth for the action. Thanks for listening on Bulldog Radio.